Right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kodash, and the Heavenly Father. True name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. The last one, Kodash, tongue, and I say Barak to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Aqua, from I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the prophecy updates as of November the 10th, 2025. On this Monday afternoon, November 10th, 2025, are the prophecy updates through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. And this is a news article from RT.com as of November 10th, 2025, because remember a couple months back, tensions was flaring between China, Thailand, and Cambodia, in the once the tensions were de-escalating, and then you had the President Donald Trump, he had a peace deal between Thailand and Cambodia, because tensions been heating up between Thailand and Cambodia. Border dispute, which they've been going back way back, and then this is recently, as of November 10th, 2025, it reads, Thailand suspends Trump's brokered peace with Cambodia. It says the two Southeast Asian nations signed a peace deal last month, which the United States president took credit for. It says Thailand has suspended a peace deal with Cambodia, which just over 2 weeks ago, that the U.S. President Donald Trump claims to have held broker. Bangkok announced on the decision on Monday after four Thai soldiers patrolling the border with Cambodia were injured by a landmine, which Thai authorities allege was recently laid. One soldier was reportedly lost a foot in the incident. The neighboring Southeast Asian countries inked a peace deal late last month in Malaysia following a 5-day long military flare-up and the long simmering colonial area border dispute. Trump was present for the signing and took credit for the initiative. It says during the press conference on Monday, the Prime Minister Oten Cholabako, if I pronounced that name right, announced that he was suspending the deal and the next steps of the implementations. What happens demonstrates hostility towards Thailand and a continuous security threat. What we have been pursuing, it says now, must be put on hold until clarity is restored, he said. Defense Minister team claimed that because the patrol path for which the incident happened was regularly checked, the mine must have been freshly laid, according to the Bangkok Post. This is an act by the Cambodia that does not observe the declaration signed on October 26, 2025. He was quoted as saying, Bangkok has reportedly sent a formal protest to Phnom Penh over the incident. It said it also put on hold plans to recuperate 18 captured Cambodian soldiers later this week, which has the next step of implementing the peace deal. It says that Trump has claimed credit for ending eight wars since the beginning of the second term. Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo, Serbia, Congo, Rwanda, Israel, Iran, Egypt, and Ethiopia, and Armenia, and Azerbaijan, Pakistan, and India are the most recent between Israel, Hamas, and Gaza. However, New Delhi has denied any external involvements in its ceasefire with Islamabad. It says Islamabad, had a number of other wars Trump has cited never broke out into actual fighting. Nevertheless, the U.S. president has argued that he deserved a Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts. What's that? First Thessalonians, the 5th chapter. So, since with this latest incident between Thailand and Cambodia, because they signed this deal, which is a Trump peace broker deal, this signed October 26, 2025. So you had Thailand has suspended the drug broker with Cambodia. So potentially these two nations might rise up against one another once again. And this is First Thessalonians chapter 5. And this was Apostle Paul was mentioned. And this is the book of First Thessalonians, Salakia. Yep, this is the book of First Thessalonians, chapter 5, and verse 3. When they shall say peace and safety, such shall come upon them as the rebel woman child shall not escape. Right, because you're still going to see wars and rumors of wars between the nations, despite the fact they might have a peace deal. And you got these leaders taking credit for it, especially credible owners say he took credit for that Thailand Cambodia peace deal. Now, as of lately, you had some type of soldier got hit in the mine. Yep, it says on the Bangkok announced the decision on Monday after 4 Thai soldiers patrolling the border with Cambodia was injured by a landmine, which Thailand authorities allege was recently laid. One soldier approximately lost his foot in the incident. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, as we hear wars and rumors of wars, these modern day nuclear escalation tensions are heating up between these nations. And it's kind of similar with the Gaza Israel situation. Just like this been happening, countless of times. Despite the fact that they have a ceasefire in place, that cut like a couple months ago, but you're still gonna have tension between, Hamas and Hezbollah versus the Israel Defense Force, despite the fact they have a ceasefire agreement. Just like over there in Lebanon, they still got a ceasefire deal which was in place as of November of last year all the way to now. So they've been holding on for a year now, but you still been having the Israel Defense Force using airstrikes over there, targeting the headquarters over there in Lebanon, over in southern Lebanon, just like they're doing over there in the Gaza Strip. So over there in Lebanon and over there in the Gaza Strip, even though they have ceasefires in the region, but you're still going to have them continue to violate the ceasefire. So that shows that the tensions are almost stirred up between the nations. That's why Apostle Paul mentioned in 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 3, for they shall say peace and safety. Such structure upon it as a rebel woman child shall escape. Matthew 24, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? So these are wars and rumors of wars. It says once again, Thailand suspends Trump local peace deal with Cambodia. The two Southeast Asian nations signed a peace deal last month, but the president took credit for it. But they have it suspended as of Monday. Matthew 24 and verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, as we hear wars and rumors of wars, we see, the Russia-Ukraine situation intensifying. We see in Belarus and Russia together going against NATO. We see that been increasing for the past couple of years and recently as well too. And yeah, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not trouble for all these things when it's first come to pass, but it ain't yet. Right, so it's not going to end just yet, even though it's going to come to pass. The Gospel of Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so that's what we see, increasing earthquakes in diverse places. And we see increasing famines and pestilence, increasing nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So that's only going to continue to increase. And this is what they're saying that Yahweh spoke about in the Gospel of Matthew 24, verse 6 to verse 7. So as it says, once again, Thailand suspended Trump broke a peace deal because there was a potential of a landmine of 4 Thai soldiers boarding Cambodia were injured in the landmine. But Thai authorities allege was recently led by a Polish soldier who lost a foot in the incident. I thought that was somebody out there. I forgot this is all I heard something. I heard you first.
Bah, ah, ah. Give me sugar, and water.
All right, get to some more news articles. It says, it says a deadly car blast in Indian's capital. Because I believe they say they're on high alert, a red high alert or something like that after this happened over there in India. It says this is November 10th, 2025 from RT.com. Of course, a deadly car blast in Indian capital. 8 people are confirmed unalive after a vehicle exploded near a crowded metro station in New Delhi. 8 people had been confirmed unalive and dozens were injured by a car blast in a densely populated area of India's capital. It says New Delhi on Monday. The incident took place outside the Red Fort Metro Station about 7 local time 7 p.m. local time during the event. Rush hour, according to the local media reports. Delhi Police Commissioner Sastia Gloshka told the media that the blast occurred in a slow-moving vehicle that stopped in the red light. He noted that there were passengers inside. The blast led to many nearby vehicles, so catching fire. The eyewitness reported seeing a huge fireball and a very, very loud explosion. Emergency service has cordoned off the nearby hospitals. It's that Luke 21, verse 25. And this is the Gospel of Luke 21 and verse 25. So look about Luke 21, verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth, which rest of nations will perplex and siege virgin born. So we see in the upwards of the world, like it says in Second Ezra, verse 3, and we see in the signs of the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth, which rest of nations will perplex and siege virgin born. That's what we're seeing. As it says again in deadly car blast in the capital. It says, check out some more news articles. It says Beijing set up Belgium set up a anti-drone squad, then forgets to use it. Let's see. It says Germany draft plan triggers a mass protest call right upwards people. Check out some more news articles. It says U.S. extend pause on Syrian sanctions. And they're going to have, because I believe it's going to be the president over in Syria to meet the president of the United States, and then potentially send some more troops over there in Syria. And that leads up to that Isaiah 17 verse 1. So that's going to be up to more wars, rumors of wars, because you're still going to have the proxy groups over there to might potentially target them, just like they did once before. So that's going to lead up to the Third World War. And this is kind of bugged out right here. It says a tech titan bidding to create a design baby. Wall Street Journal reports. It says a U.S. biotech company backed by Sam Altman and Brian Armstrong is reportedly pursuing an embargo editing to produce a child free of a hereditary illness. That's that. That goes right along with that Revelation 13 chapter. The MOTB. And get to some more news articles. It says EU. Oh, all right, get to some more news articles. It says Trump, Slovakia. This is from PBS Online 2 hours ago. It says Japan and China trade talks at the PM. Takaishi says an attack on Taiwan would be an external threat. That's a sign of wars amongst wars. It says typhoon weakening and heads to Taiwan, right? Because that major typhoon, that major super typhoon hit over there in the Philippines and caused some significant damage. That was that Isaiah 29th chapter, that the Heavenly Father is going to visit the earth with these weather-like conditions. And second Ezra the 9th chapter, that he's going to visit the earth, and as we can see with these weather-like conditions. And let's see. It says Trump escalates sanctions against Russia. Right. And on top of that, for the past week and a half or so, we've been seeing tensions heating up between Russia and the United States with the nuclear arms test. Just like last week, that the United States launched a Minute 3 missile of a nuclear test, which they haven't been doing ever since 1992, last time I checked. And then Russia recently did their nuclear tests as well too. So these nuclear arms tests are really heating up between Russia. So expect to see the United States using economic sanctions, oil sanctions, and nuclear sanctions against Russia as well too, as Russia last week separated themselves once again from that nuclear treaty, which is going to end on February the 6th, 2026, last time I checked. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars, just like I brought out that Matthew 24th chapter a couple minutes ago. It says North Korea. It says North Korea test fires. This is from the Diplomatic news article. Another sign of wars, rumors, wars heating up over there in the Korean Peninsula. Yep, this is from the Diplomatic, and this is flashpoints from security of East Asia. This is published by Mitchell Shin from November 10, 2025, and it reads, it says North Korea test fire a SRBM as it denounced South Korea U.S. exercise. The South Korean military says that North Korea fired a short-range ballistic missiles towards its eastern shores on Friday. Like today is Monday, so that was a couple of days ago. It says North Korea fired a short-range ballistic missiles of a SRBM towards its east coast on November 7th. According to the South Korea Joint Chief of Staff, the missile flew about 700 kilometers and launched from the Daeguang, if I pronounced that right, area in the North Pyongyang province. It was the second. It says it was the North's second ballistic missile launch since South Korean President Lee Jae-myung assumed the presidency on June 4th. The details of North testing SRBM was not shared by Seoul or Washington. The South Korean Defense Ministries has warned the Democratic Party strongly denounced the North ballistic missiles test, urging Pyongyang to halt any actions that can heighten tensions. Which they're not going to hold, but that's tensions only going to continue to heighten tensions on the Korean Peninsula. The defense minister also expressed its regrets over the Pyongyang criticism of the annual South Korea-U.S. joint military exercise. On November 8th, North Korea state-controlled Korean Central News agencies released a statement from No Kang-chol, if I pronounce his name right, Minister of the National Defense. It says his statement criticized the South Korea-U.S. joint military exercise while accusing the United States of taking a hostile action against North Korea. It says recently the U.S. military has become a brass in its military moves to threaten to the security of the DPRK. Internationally escalate a political and military tensions in the region. No said the statement using the acronym for North Korea's official name, the Democratic Party's People's Republic of Korea, amending the ongoing U.S. ROK, which is the Republic of Korea, South Korea, joint air-trade freedom flag in appearance of the super large nuclear carrier George Washington Task Force belonging to the U.S. 7th Fleet. Hurls the critical excess further escalate the tensions on the Korean Peninsula. This is Luke 21 and verse 9. It says, but when you should hear of wars and commotions, right? These are wars and commotions, what's going on over the Korean Peninsula. As of Friday, North Korea fired off one of their missiles over the eastern shores in their area, which they've been doing for quite a while, for the past 5 or 6 years, as recently. So that shows you that for the past 5 or 6 years, and still to this day, tensions been really been heating up between North Korea versus South Korea, Japan, and the United States. And that's only going to intensify as we see tensions heating up down in the South China Sea. That's intensifying. There's disputed territorial waters between China and the Philippines, and then China versus Taiwan. So that's heating up. It says Luke 21 verse 9, and when you should hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Right, it's going to come to pass, but not going to yet. Luke 21 verse 10, it said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Right, so nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. As says again, North Korea fired test fired at SRBM, and it denounces South Korea's U.S. Exercise. The South Korean military says that the North Korea fired a sword-bringing ballistic missiles towards its east coast on Friday. Yep, Luke 21 and verse 10. Then say he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, which goes to ethnos, and kingdom against kingdom. Right, that's what we're seeing, nation against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, with these biblical bidding up wars, rumors of wars that Yahusha spoke about in Matthew's 24th chapter. So with that, hopefully this quick sit down, that's what's edifying of the prophecy updates as of November 10th, 2025, on this Monday afternoon. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash, and the Heavenly Father, but your name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Bahashem, and name Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the last one, and I say Barak Adon to the elders and apostles, Hakim Akwa. Until next time, I would say Kwame Sharala and Shalom.